Hi there, this is Margaret, and welcome back to Radiant Wholeness. This pandemic has brought a lot of changes and a lot of challenges into our lives. We're juggling more balls than ever, we're losing people that we love, and in these difficult times, it can be really easy to just resign to being stressed out. We feel as if stress is our only option, right? Like it's the only rational way for us to feel and react to these crazy times. But the truth is that chronic stress actually decreases your resilience and your ability to cope. It makes you physically unwell and mentally unwell, and it adds to your challenges and inhibits your problem-solving skills. So as a coach, I have helped thousands of people learn how to navigate the challenging experiences in their lives without stress, so that they could maintain a sense of love and peace and confidence on the inside no matter what is happening around them. And I want to do the same for you today. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can shift your mindset so that you can navigate change and transition and challenges without losing your cool. Let's go.
As always, before we get started, make sure you hit the bell and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss a thing. Welcome to Radiant Wholeness, the soulful sanctuary for big-hearted high achievers longing to cultivate more joy, fulfillment, and inner peace. I'm your host, Margaret, and I'm an expert at helping high achievers create the life their soul is longing for. I'm a published author and a master life coach, and I'm all about creating massive social impact while loving yourself, speaking your truth, and connecting with the divine on the inside. Now let's dive in.
So in 1964, 42% of the American population smoked cigarettes. Everybody was doing it, and being a smoker actually said a lot about who you were and where you fit in. It was actually a popular status symbol. Now, fortunately, today only 15% of this country identifies as a smoker, and this is really great progress. But now, America has an even more dangerous, more fast-spreading habit: stress. So Columbia Medical Center actually published a study recently that showed how stress has a physical impact on our bodies the same as smoking 5 cigarettes a day. And if that's not bad enough, it also increases your risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and all the stress hormones that run through your body make it nearly impossible to feel things like joy or presence in the moment. And so it's easy to conclude that actually stress is one of the greatest dangers to our physical and mental well-being. But here's the problem with trying to get rid of it. Just like in the 1960s with smoking, stress is a socially rewarded habit. We wear our stressed out lifestyles like a badge of honor, right? And we walk around trying to prove to people that we're leading this worthy life because we're so stressed out. Plus, stressing also gives us this perceived sense of control in our lives. If we're worrying and we're analyzing and, just thinking a lot anxiously about things, it gives us this fake sense that we're in control. And so for all these reasons, we've become addicted to stress in this country. Stressing has become the new smoking. And so even though it's bad for us, we are addicted to it because it is socially celebrated and it gives us a false perception of control. But if you want to have more joy, more peace in your life, then you want to become, this more resilient and happy person. And you have to learn how to cure your stress addiction. And that's what I'm going to really help you with in today's video. So specifically, we're going to focus on 2 core limiting beliefs that you have about stress and how to shift them into new beliefs that will help you cut ties with stress for good. Now, after we talk about these 2 mindset shifts, if you want to go even deeper on this topic, then make sure that you stay until the very end of this video, because I'm going to give you an opportunity to book a free one-on-one call with me personally, so that we can really come up with a personalized plan to help you beat the stress mindset that you have and cultivate much more joy and peace and presence in the moment. All right, so let's talk about mindset shift number 1. Here's where I want you to shift your mindset. There is no finish line that will give me relief. Peace is only available in the present moment. So here's the thing. One of the things that I noticed while coaching thousands of high achievers over the years is that we tend to have this false belief, this limiting belief, that there's some finish line in life where all of a sudden everything is going to feel easy and figured out, right? So we tell ourselves that, oh, once I get this promotion, then I'm going to let myself relax. Or once we close on the house, then I'm going to let myself relax and feel less stressed. Or during COVID, we tell ourselves, okay, well, once we get through this pandemic, then we'll be able to feel less stress and relax. But what happens when we come in with this mindset is that it leads to us getting into just this like self-sacrifice mode in the present tense. And so we say, all right, well, I just have to, hustle through this and get through this, and then, I'll eventually relax. And so we push ourselves and we sacrifice our needs, we sacrifice our peace, we sacrifice our sleep, we sacrifice our nutrition, our well-being, our health, our relationships, all of these things, so that we can supposedly get to some destination where we believe there's going to be less stress. But that is not how it works. Because here's the golden rule. Hustle leads to more hustle, and peace leads to more peace. So if you are building this life right now where you're just hustling all the time and working hard and just getting through your days and just trying to survive and just get to some supposed future place where you're suddenly going to feel good, that's not going to happen, because even when you've gotten to that place, you will find that your mind is so wound up in anxiety and negative thinking and overwhelm, and your emotions and your hormones have really created that new normal as well. And so that becomes who you are as a person and how you relate to life. And so it doesn't matter how easy life becomes, you will be an anxious, stressed out person and not really able to enjoy, even if your life does get easier. But to be honest with you, it's not even likely that your life will suddenly just get that much easier, because if you are addicted to the stress and you're really, building that habit of stress in the present moment, then that's just going to make you consciously or subconsciously just call in and run towards more and more and more stressful situations, because that's going to be your comfort zone. People actually get comfortable in the hustle. And so you really have to give up this idea that there's some future state that's going to help you feel peace and ease, and instead really focus on the present moment, knowing that if you can create peace in this moment, then you can create peace in the next moment and the next moment, and you become really aligned with being a peaceful person and having that be your identity. So you want to go deeper on that. There's a book by a Harvard psychologist called Stumbling on Happiness. And he really talks about this, how people keep kind of postponing their joy and getting into the hustle and getting into stress so that they can eventually have that house that will make them happy, or that they can eventually have that job that will give them peace. And ultimately, once they get there, they don't find that fulfillment and joy and peace. And there's so much research to back this up. So I really hope we can come back to this intention of getting present with peace right now, in the next breath and the next breath. And that will help you create and design moment by moment, day by day, a more peaceful life. And so really, I want you to know that there is no finish line. This is your first mindset shift. There's no finish line that's going to give me relief. Peace is found in the present moment. Let that be one of your new mindset mantras. All right, so let's talk about mindset shift number 2. Here's the statement I want you to hone in. Stress is a product of my internal resources, not my outer circumstances. So again, high achievers tend to have this limiting belief that stress is about how many things you have on your plate. So we believe that, if we're doing millions of things, or we're, we've got kids and we've got COVID and we've got babysitter and we've got our jobs and we've got all these different responsibilities, that is somehow what makes us stressed out. It's the external circumstances. But that's not actually true. And I know this actually from my time in working my former career in being a leader in the world of international development. And so what I noticed there is I would meet literally world leaders who were cool as a cucumber, who were not stressed out, who were balanced and relaxed, right? And really were able to navigate their day to day to day from this really balanced and relaxed, centered, grounded place, despite having literally the world on their shoulders as world leaders, right? And then I also saw, you might be thinking, oh, well, they have a bunch of help or they have a bunch of money or whatever. And that's true. But what I also saw is that I worked with some of the poorest people in the world. And my time working with them, I saw the same thing, that they endured massive hardships and every day had so many things on their plate, like looking for where they're getting food, where they're getting water, fighting for basic health, basic access to services, really having very difficult lives and many things on their plate as they sought to gain more economic resources. And yet they too lived from a place of acceptance and peace and moving with the flow of their lives. Stress was not their dominant emotion or the way that they really engaged with and related to life. And so as I observed all of these people, from world leaders to poor populations around the world, I should say financially poor. They're not always poor in every way, for sure. They're actually often very spiritually and socially very rich. But what I noticed in those places and watching those people is that busyness is inevitable, but stress is a choice. And stress only occurs when our inner resources are perceived as less than our outer circumstances. So let me explain a little bit about what I mean by that. When you have the inner resources, meaning things like mindfulness, self-compassion, their expectations, emotional regulation and energy regulation tools. I could go way down into a hole about what inner resources are, but those are some really great places to start. When you have inner resources that are really strong, and you know how to regulate your energy and your emotions so they don't take control of you, and you know how to challenge your negative thoughts, and you know how to really find presence and grounding in the moment, and you know how to reach out for help and practice vulnerability, and when you really know these and possess these tools in mastery, then your inner world is so strong that the external circumstances, no matter how strong the winds blow, they can't knock you over, right? It's like your house is so strong, so sturdy that it can't get knocked over by the tornado. It can't get blown into a stress vibration. But when you perceive your inner resources to be weak, when you think you're weak, when you think you can't handle things, when you think it's going to be too much for you, when you don't know how to manage your energy or work with your thoughts or really any of these inner resource tools, then you're always going to feel like you're going to be, kind of really easily able to be blown by the winds of change in your life. And so stress occurs only when your inner resources are weaker than your external circumstances. And so this isn't to bring shame onto you and say, shame on you, you don't have the internal resources. No, actually, we have deep compassion for ourselves around this because we haven't been trained around these inner resources. None of us went to school and learned how to work with our thoughts or our energy in these really, profound ways that can build that inner strength and resilience. And so there's no shame in not knowing, but you do have a responsibility to learn these skills if you want to not be dominated by stress every day in your life. And so this is actually a really empowering thing for me to share with you, is that the power lies within you. You can learn the tools, you can learn the skills, you can cultivate the mindsets. And I have worked with some of the most anxious, PTSD, people who struggle with all kinds of addictions, all these people who told themselves, I can't, my inner world is just not strong enough. And I promise you, I have seen them all cross to the other side of the desert and be able to have such an inner strength to weather and not relate in stressful ways to all storms around them. So it's totally possible for you too. So I am going to repeat for you one more time this mindset mantra for this second mindset shift, which is greater is the person and the resources inside of me than any of my external circumstances. My inner strength is greater than my external circumstances. And so that's a mantra, and I really encourage you to dive deep with me or with another teacher you feel called to work with in order to be able to actually learn how some of those tools to work with and strengthen your inner world. And so that wraps up our session for today. Bringing those things together, I want you to remember that stress is not something that you'll escape in the future, only in the present, and it's done moment by moment, breath by breath. And I want you to remember it has everything to do with how you're managing your inner world and not how you're managing the outer world. That is not something you can control, and so we focus on what's within. And that is where your power and your joy lives, and you can ride the waves of your life with a place of centeredness within you. So I'd love to hear your experience sharpening your own inner tools, sharpening your presence in the moment rather than trying to escape to the future. So let's start a conversation about increasing our happiness and decreasing our stress so that we can come together and live with more joy and peace in this community. Lots of love, and thank you for tuning in.
If this episode resonated with you and you want my help applying these ideas to your life in a practical way right now, then you're in luck. Because every week I set aside a few hours to talk exclusively to big-hearted high achievers who want my help figuring out how to create more joy, fulfillment, and inner peace while making a positive impact on the world. This is a 1-hour call with me personally, and it's completely free for you. On this call, we will discuss your dreams and get clear on the values and impact that you want to create in the world. We'll identify the limiting beliefs that are keeping you stuck in negativity and how to create more joy and ease. We'll look at where you feel victimized and the mindset shifts that will help you reclaim your power. And we'll map out the inner changes you need to make to cultivate purpose, fulfillment, and deep, authentic connection in your life. After our call, if I'm confident that you are committed to doing the inner work to create more joy and fulfillment, I might even invite you into my exclusive community for big-hearted high achievers where we can take your transformation to the next level. So if you're seeking support, book your breakthrough call with me today by either opening up your camera on your phone and putting it in front of this QR code, or just by going directly to caitlinmargaret.com/apply.